Support reaction. What is support reaction? Let me give you an example. If I've got an object on a table, has got a mass acting downward, it's 10 kg. Then the reaction support reaction force is 100 Newton in the opposite direction. That is the reaction force. So let's look at the support. Few support is just in 2D support reaction. So says here, as a general rule, if a support prevents translation of a body in given direction, then a force is developed on the body in the opposite direction. Similarly, if the rotation is prevented, a couple moments exerted on the body. So in simple words, it says here, if I look at this part only, and let me get rid of this, yes. It says here, as a general rule, if a support prevents translation of the body in a given direction, then a force is developed on the body in the opposite direction. So again, I'll give you the same example. Let me change the color of the pen. Again, I've got a box which weighs 100 Newton. And it is on the table. That's the table. So it says there, the support prevents translation of the body in the given direction. So there's a force of the box acting on the table. So the box wants to move downward, but there's a restriction. The restriction is caused by the table. So it says that then a force is developed on the body in the opposite direction. So there's a reaction force of 100 Newton upward. So this is what it says here, the reaction force. So if the support, it prevents a movement, linear movement in any direction, then there will be a reaction, opposite force acting on the body from the support. Similarly, if I have got a rod coming out of a wall, and I'm applying a force here, and there's a distance d here, then I am creating a moment in this direction. But it is not rotating. The reason why it's not rotating, because it's fixed at the wall. So the wall will create an opposite moment to counter it. And that's what it says here. Is that clear to everyone? Gentlemen, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I lost you. So can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So let's look at the support here. Now look at this. I'm looking at this one. Okay. That's it's a rod with a this is like a cable. That's a cable, and you know cable is always in pull force. So I want to move the rod, but what's preventing me from the movement is the cable. So there is a force, opposite force in the cable, and you can clearly see it's always in pull. So logically, yes, it is downward. Similarly, if you look at this one, let's look at this scenario here. Okay, it's a rod which is pivoted here. Now I want to move the rod in this direction so that I can bring this, pivot point here. I want to bring it here. Now I want to do that, but it is bolted. So it means it cannot move. So I will have a reaction force in this direction. I want to move the pivot up here, but I can't, it's bolted, so I will have a reaction force in this direction. I want to rotate the rod in this direction, and because it's pivoted, I can rotate. So there's no reaction force, assuming that the pivot is frictionless. There's no reaction force, sorry, there's no reaction moment created. The only reaction moment is created by the four linear forces F in Fx and Fy direction. Similarly, if I look at this one, this scenario here, I want to move the pivot in this direction, and I can do that because it's rollers. I want to lift the pivot up. I can do that because it is not fixed to the ground. I want to move the pivot downwards. I cannot do that because there's a floor here and that's preventing me from moving downwards. So I will only have a reaction force from the ground. Similarly, if we look at this scenario, I've got a rod which is fixed to the wall. I want to move the rod in this direction. I cannot do that. It's fixed. I want to move the rod in this direction. I cannot do that. I want to rotate the rod. I cannot do that. It's fixed to the wall. So if the rod cannot move in any direction, if the rod cannot move in any direction, then there's a support reaction force. So I can see I've got two reaction forces. If I cannot rotate the rod, then I will have a reaction moment also. Is that clear to everyone?
Sir, can you please repeat the third case?
Okay. You're talking about this one, am I right?
No, sir, the one with the rollers.
Okay, hold on. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which one you after?
2 here.
2. Okay.
Sir, 3.
3. Okay, let me explain both 2 and 3. So let's look at this one first. Okay, before we go here, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say we've got an object in space. It's in space, no gravity. Okay, so it will not fall. Am I right? There's no gravitational force. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
If I push it here, it will start moving in this direction. If I push it from here, it will start moving in this direction. If I rotate it here in this direction, it will start spinning in this direction. So in whatever way I want to move, I can move the box and it moves in that direction. So there's no reaction support reaction force. It means it is not supported. And if I look at this scenario, so remember, if I want to move an object in any particular direction and it moves freely, then there's no reactive force coming out. So there's no support reactive force. If I want to turn an object and it turns very easily, then there's no reactive moment created. So if I look at this object here, so it's a beam which is pivoted here, so it can rotate. So if I'm looking at this example, so if I want to rotate the beam in this direction, can I do that?
Yes, sir.
I can do that. So there's no reactive force in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. So there won't be any force, a moment. I want to move the rod in this direction so that the whole rod, including the part where it's pivoted, I want to bring the rod here. I want to bring the rod here. Can I do that?
No, sir.
No, because it's bolted here. So if I cannot move it in the x direction, it means there is a reactive force. If I try to move, there'll be a reaction. Similarly, I want to move this rod up here. Can I bring it up here?
No, sir.
No, because it's been bolted. So there will be a reactive force. If I apply force upward or downward, there will be a reactive force. So if I want to move an object in any direction and something is preventing me from that motion, then it means there will be a reactive force. Similarly, let us look at this scenario here. It's a rod on rollers and it's pivoted. So it means if I want to rotate the rod, can I rotate the rod?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to move the rod here at this point here. Can I move the rod?
Yes, sir.
Because it's rollers, I can do that. I want to move the rod here. Can I do that? Can I do that?
No.
Why is that? What is stopping me from moving it up?
Sir, it's bolted. Gravity. Weight.
No, it's not bolted. It's on rollers, it's on wheels.
Sir, it can be moved.
Sir,
It can be moved because it's on rollers. It's free to move upward. Now watch. I want to move the rod here down. Can I do that?
No, sir.
No, because it's ground. If I force it, I will get a reaction force from the ground. So it means in this case, there's only one reaction force and that is coming from the ground. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So remember, an object, if I want to move an object in any direction and there's no restriction, then it means there won't be any reactive force in that direction. But if I want to move it in a particular direction and I cannot do that because there's restriction, then I will get a reactive force. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.